I joined the cult, Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry, so that you don't have to. And I think it's finally time that we talk about fire tunnels. But I'm going to be honest with you guys that I've been so tempted to lie to you. So if I promise to tell the truth, will you promise to be nice to me? Now that we've promised, okay, I'm going to explain. There is something called fire tunnels. Now, what I want you to picture is, did you guys ever play soccer growing up? Okay, and you have two lines, you know, and you put your hands out and then somebody walks through the middle. I don't know if y'all did that or if that was just my soccer team, okay? But imagine that is essentially what a fire tunnel is at Bethel. So in this fire tunnel, you have on two sides and then somebody walks through, and as they're walking through, people will lay hands on them. That is a very like charismatic, churchy kind of phrase, okay? But they lay hands on them as they're walking through. Now, as they are, sometimes they are speaking in tongues, sometimes they are prophesying over you, praying over you, whispering under their breath or whatever. And as they're touching them, it is very common / expected for people to start manifesting in the spirit. So just for a quick reference, this is a picture that I found online and it looks like it's at Bethel. I think it is. And as you can see, there's different lines and then there's people walking through and they're like fumbling around. Manifesting in the spirit is a very big deal at Bethel. It is something that a lot of people do. Not all students, I will say that, but I would say 80% of people will manifest in the spirit, okay? So what this looks like is twitching. Essentially, like, I don't know how to phrase it in a way that's not cringe, but okay, what it might look like is somebody being like, no, it's so stupid, okay? No, but they're like moving and twitching and they're like, something is happening in their body. I did not know that this was a thing until I arrived at Bethel, and imagine my surprise during like the first day of worship. All of a sudden I just see people twitching, people are like falling to the floor, they're on the floor, they are filled with holy laughter. So this is another thing, they call it, guys, it's so culty, they call it getting drunk in the spirit. So they will be like on the floor laughing, they like won't get up. It is very common for people to stay on the floor throughout, like while the sermons are going on, and people just respect it and they're like, oh, they're like having some sort of experience. So they'll be on the floor and they'll be twitching and laughing and being very loud and causing like some sort of ruckus, and it genuinely looks like they are drunk or they are on drugs or something is happening, but it is the Holy Spirit. Like the Holy Spirit is coming over them and they are acting in a very interesting way. So with these fire tunnels, there is this expectation of you are going to walk through and like you're going to be hit with like the Holy Spirit and the power of the Holy Spirit, and you're gonna like start twitching. It's like very common for people to be walking through and then all of a sudden they like fall to the ground. So they'll be on the ground and then, you know, people have to step around them. Because that is just kind of what is expected with fire tunnels. So fire tunnels didn't happen every day. I'd say like maybe once a week or something like that. They would like break out during worship. Something else that would break out during worship was conga lines. I don't know why that happened. It was like, we're partying, you know, so we would like do conga lines. I'm trying to picture just like a normal Reading resident walking in on us and just being like, what the heck is this church that is taking over my city? So here is why I asked you to not judge me, because out of everything that I have experienced at Bethel and what I believe, okay, I believe that there's so many false words happening at Bethel. I think that honestly Bethel could be studied for like the psychiatric things going on of like what is happening in our bodies when we think that we are like drunk in the spirit. I mean, like, I don't really know. But what I will say, I didn't want you to judge me, because the question would be, well, Jubilee, did this happen to you? Why, yes, people of TikTok, this did happen to me. It didn't happen for the first few months, and I remember feeling left out, low-key. I was like, wait, does God not love me? Why is this happening to everybody else? And I felt like skeptical. I was thinking like, are they faking it because I'm not experiencing this? So maybe everybody's faking it, but I would be desperate for his power to like overpower me or whatever. So I would like pray and worship that this would happen to me. It was like something that I was very actively wanting to happen because it was like such a big deal in Bethel culture. So I remember that there was one day and I like people were on the floor drunk in the spirit, like in the middle of like intermission, and somebody was like, come here, Jubilee, and they like pulled me down to the floor, and then all of a sudden I was laughing hysterically. I felt like I was experiencing what they were experiencing, and then I started like twitching. and manifesting like this thing that I had seen everybody else do. And to this day, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know, guys. So that actually continued on for like 6 or 7 hours. So I don't know. It just continually, but I don't know if my body was just like keeping it going because it's like muscle memory. I don't really know. And I'm sure I'm seeing some Bethel people in the comments. Okay. I'm sure the Bethel people are going to be like, see, Juby, Bethel's legit. Okay. That's not where I'm going with this, but I'm sure I am going to get those comments. So I had prayed to God that night and I told him like, hey, if this is real, I pray that like you will make it be known that this is real and I'm just not like making this up, because I was skeptical of myself. I was like, am I making this happen? Valid, right? So that night I went to bed. I had a dream that I prayed for somebody and then they got healed, and I woke up at 3 a.m. twitching in the middle of the night. Like I was woken up to it. So the reason I am deciding to tell this story, okay, the reason why I'm deciding to tell this story is I think that I'm sure that people are very skeptical of things that happen at Bethel, and they're like, how are these stupid people like convinced that this stuff is real? It's stuff like that that I was like, oh, this is real. Like, how do you explain that? Waking up at 3 a.m. and that happening. I don't really know. I think it probably has something to do with like muscle memory and like the being brainwashed in that environment. I know a lot of other people who also used to manifest in the spirit, and now they also think that it was not real. So I really think that there's something very psychological going on in these cult environments, and I wish that it could be studied, but that is what a fire tunnel is. If you want to hear more insanity, follow for part 9.